Ba 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 ba. 3, 2, 1. Let's do it. Okay. Hi, my name is Daniel Feldroy, and this is No Codecast number 2. In this video, what I'm going to do is I am a engineer or a software programmer with over 23 years of experience. And one of the things I've learned is there are times when I should not be coding. And this is one of them. In this case, I have on YouTube a video, a stream that I did on Twitch, and I've done some editing of it. Let's see, I've done some editing of it, and it is ready to launch. When it launches, I want to hit social media. And specifically, there's some Twitter accounts, there's some Facebook accounts. I've set up some of it already, where once I hit public, I turn this from private to public, it will then go to several Facebook groups and my primary Twitter account. What I want to do is add some subsidiary Twitter accounts and then also have an individualized message for each one. This is the video in question is Codecast number 7, where I was working on 2 scoops of Django for over 4 hours, bringing in 16 more pages of content. And one of the things I should do before I get any further is now that the video is added to Facebook, I can do things like add the end screens. And this is really important in YouTube because what I want to do is I want to make sure that as the video ends, then people have directions for things to do. So there's this there is a subscribe button, and then this right here links to the Codecast playlist. So I'm going to save that. Just want to make sure I get that done. These little things add up because at the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is get people to stay connected with me. Okay, now that I have that in place, and that's good, I think I have all the other options. Los Angeles, July 8th. And it is under category science and tech. Okay, and I have my thumbnail. And at some point I may upload a thumbnail making video. I did one, but did I do it yesterday? I think I discussed it, but I didn't actually working on the thumbnail. I did offline. Now that I have the YouTube looks good. For promoting this is where we get into the fun no codecast part of things. I'm going to use Zapier. Here's the thing. Everything that Zapier provides, I can do. In fact, I have done it. I've written scripts that will take a project. And I just realized my volume on the mic might be really, really high. So let me just change my system preferences and make sure output is to there, and I'm just going to decrease this a little bit and make sure that I'm looking over here at my setup and I'm seeing that I have it really, really high. Excellent. Okay, so getting back to the topic at hand, with Zapier, everything about Zapier I have coded up. Well, most things on Zapier that I've done in the past. I have written scripts that I've done something, an action over here, and then over here, I want, when this happens, I want on one tool, I write a script that takes a webhook coming from here, and then it fires off an action over here to this tool. I can do it, and it can be kind of fun. It's also time consuming, and as much as it can be fun to noodle around with this, my work time is limited. I am a parent of a darling 18-month-old little girl, and we are living in a pandemic where our preschool has gotten closed twice now because someone interacting there was reported as having COVID-19. So even if we had kept our daughter in preschool, it wouldn't have made a difference. We would have had to
take her out. So therefore, whatever time I have to do stuff, I have to find the most productive way to do anything. In this case, I'm using Zapier, which is the leader in this kind of industry of providing tools for people to connect apps together. And in this case, when a new video appears in my channel on YouTube, what I was hoping to do is have it look up a spreadsheet row that would then populate all these social media actions, like create a tweet in my primary Twitter account. I've got these are 3 Facebook pages that I have control over. I can't do it with groups because I don't have permissions with any of the major groups that I interact with. So those I have to do manually unless I can convince the owners of those groups to let me like automate posting, which I don't think is going to happen. And then finally, it also creates a share update in LinkedIn. So originally I was hoping to have it would look up the last row or a row within a spreadsheet and then populate all these other records. That is a bit more challenging than I thought it would be in Zapier. Also, the other interesting thing is, because when I was saying, I could do it with a Google Doc, I read an article where what someone does is they automate this, but then they go into each one of these and they customize the message, which makes a lot of sense because my Twitter followers are different from my Facebook followers. So if I post stuff on Twitter and I don't color my message for other social media environments, it's going to sound funny. Also, it's going to smell like I'm putting out a generic post, which I don't want to do. I personally can't stand that, and I don't want to like torment my followers with something that is obviously, me spamming out marketing junk. So for starters, I'm going to hold off on doing this. So what I've read is what you do is instead of, hold on, let's see. I already chose my account. This is to my primary thing. Okay, so this message right now, all it does is includes a YouTube URL, and that's all fine and good. But what I should be doing is putting in a message. So that's what I'll be putting custom message. The only problem that I see here is that when I test it, it's gonna paste my current or some test data. So I wonder if I can refresh the test data. Let's see if we can. Okay, so video B pulled in 2 days ago. See if it so this is a previous code cast. This is not ideal, unfortunately. So I have to figure out how to resolve this, because right now in order to continue, let's say I make this change. So if I do something like I spent another 4 hours working on 2 scoops of Django. So if I put that in, and now that's the data I want, but that's not actually the data that I want. This, if I wonder if I can, so TNJ FU, I don't know if you can see that. So the concern I have is this is an older video. Oops, how do I, I can copy it. So let me see if I can, whoa, I need to get rid of a bunch of these pieces. Okay, so if I paste in, well, that's not very helpful, but let me see if I can get this to show you my current issue. Oh wait, I have a couple of people who have posted comments. And what I'm doing here is, with the way I do my setup, is I actually take this chat and I bring it over here because what you can see, I can't. Yeah, by nice singularity, I don't like to torment my followers. And Skyforce, we are later on. We're going to be diving into the emoji. I might stream learning how to do it, so that way I can get pointers from you, since you're the one who's pushing me to add emoji for my Twitch streamers. I might enlist you in helping make sure that I do it in a way that is the best way. Okay, so where was I? So here, so it's TNJ. I'm gonna pull up my channel so that way you can see the issue. So this is the previous codecast, and I'm gonna pause this real quick. See that TNJ FU? So the issue is that if I test this, want to see if it lets me customize tweet. See how it wants to test and review? Oh, I can skip the test. Oh, okay. So I see how it's done. Easy. So now what that means is each one of these, I just have to spot where I am skipping the test. So here, when I send the data, this is to which group? This is my personal Facebook page. Yes, I have a personal Facebook page. So, and here I can say something like, how do I customize a post? Okay, that's not what I want to say because this is my page. It doesn't make any sense for it to be our own very own Daniel Feldroy. It'd be more like I spent another 4 hours working on 2 scoops of Django. Okay. So I'm going to update that. I'm going to skip the test. Don't need to do it. And I certainly don't need to post this to my stream because I've already done that. Thank you. So Skyforce, you're willing to help later on when we dig into that emoji. We'll invite you. Hopefully it'll be today. Okay, so we're going to create here, and this is for our 2 scoops press, which actually has a good amount of people. And here, our very own Daniel Greenfeld recorded 4 hours of recorded over 4 hours working on 2 scoops of Django. Okay, and here, this is the text that Audrey and Carla like to use when they were describing work I use. So I'm doing it in their voice, not mine. Okay. It's funny, if you read 2 scoops of Django, the writing style is much closer to how Audrey writes, and I had to adapt my writing style to that. And I have been accused, maybe rightfully so, of like letting her do all the work. And she actually works on the book quite a lot. She doesn't record it. So if it looks like I'm doing all the work for 2 scoops of Django, that is not accurate at all. Okay. And then this is for, wait a second. So there's me, Facebook pages, Daniel Roy Greenfeld. So here's a question. Is this my account? So this is going to the Feldroy page. Okay, so I need to change this. Our very own Daniel Feldroy recorded another 4. Okay, so that's what we'll change this to be, and we're gonna skip the test. Done editing, and here, this is okay. So this is my I recorded 4 more hours of working on 2 scoops of Django. Okay. And I'll put something like the book is now at 477 pages with 2 more chapters added. Okay, we're gonna hit continue and we're gonna skip the test. And I think I'm gonna change the tweet to be closer to that. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and then on LinkedIn, see, this is so bland. What I want to do is have something like working on 2 scoops of Django for 4 hours of working on 2. Actually, we'll just say working on 2 scoops of Django. We added 16 more pages, or we added an appendix and a chapter, bringing the book to 477 pages. Get the alpha version at https://feldroy.com. Okay, there we go. And then I need to keep this a little bit higher. Oh my goodness, wow, finite singularity. Audrey was just talking about how we should add a chapter on this. One of the things that Audrey is working on, I'm going to say great minds think alike. One of the things that she is working on is upgrading a legacy project to Django 3, and she's been taking a lot of notes with on a lot of her challenges that she's had, and it's, you know, we're hoping to convert that to content for the book. And this is something that we've done a lot, where we have these best practices in mind, and then, you know, we want to write something, but there are certain things where if we don't have immediate practical experience, it is irresponsible for us to talk about it. A good example of that is people say, hey, can you give us like super practical advice on React? Well, we don't know React. We're Vue.js fans. I mean, there's nothing wrong with React. I don't want people to think, oh, they don't like React. It's just we prefer to use Vue.js. Oops, I just spilled my coffee. Oh no, tragedy. Hold on. Need to get a towel. Look at my. And I'm being eco-friendly with a towel instead of paper towels. Morgan. Okay. Sorry about that little bit of disruption. Okay. All right. So I'm pretty happy with these messages, but I want to add more. So if I go to TweetDeck, then you can see, yeah, there's you know, we have 2 Scoops Press, Feldroy Team, Cartwheel Web, and I want to control the messages that we're sending out using Zapier. So, and I'm gonna turn up the volume because my daughter is sleeping. My wife's trying to get her to sleep. So gonna ratchet that up so now I don't have to project. I have a lot of experience with speaking in public as well as coaching. I used to do a lot of coaching of sports and stuff. It's been like over 10 years. So I'm taught to project my voice, and so I trying to control it for now. So finite singularity, you have a large over 100,000 line code base in 2x and you want to migrate to 3. That is a lot of code. That is about the size of what Audrey is doing or what she's working on. I help intermittently. Usually it's a matter of her doing rubber duck debugging where she like tells me the problem and I just kind of listen and then she has a solution. So yeah, to be able to convert her notes on it, it's not easy. It is a challenge. And the amazing thing is Django's API is pretty stable. So when there are changes, it can be hard. Okay. So let's I know they had vendored in 6 and then they took 6 out, and that is a problem. I know that is an ongoing issue with all the third-party package ecosystem. And I guess the lesson learned is if a software package vendors, this is a good one for the third-party package thing, is if Django ever vendors something in, as a third-party package author, don't use that. Use the original package. Let's actually add that really quick. For those of you who are not programmers and who are listening to Scoops of Django is a book on software programming that my wife and I wrote. And yes, that is what I am promoting. Okay, so I'm going to mark these as closed. They're all done. That was from yesterday, so I was supposed to have done that. And here we go. We have people already submitting issues. Did I get it? Oh no, almost down to 1 page of issues. It makes me so sad. Okay, so the issue is that third, don't use vendored libraries in Django if you can. Third-party packages when upgrading from 2 to 3.x is hard because 6 was vendored in. The solution is to not use vendored packages if possible for both the code in your project as well as in any third-party apps you are building. Okay, and so we'll figure out where to put this text. Okay, so, but to get back to the no code stuff, here what I want to do is I want to add, because this is going to pydanny, my pydanny, I want to cover 2 Scoops Press, Feldroy Team, and Cartwheel Web, and ignore some of the comments if you can read there. We are actually probably going to defollow everyone on there so we don't get called out for following the wrong person. And the one side of me is saying, don't tell me who I can be friends with. The other side of me is like, I'm running a business, I have to support a baby. The way to handle this is to just have our company accounts not follow people, and that way there's no risk of controversy. It is what it is. So okay, so let's see if TweetDeck is an option. TweetDeck is not an option, so I can't do TweetDeck and be able to do that. Maybe see what happens if I go to Twitter and add a user to a list, search user. So I want to create a tweet, and then so it for my personal, it doesn't help. Let's see what happens if I connect it. I don't want to follow Zapier. Why is it asking me this? And so here you can see it's going to my pydanny account, which is really unfortunate, but let's see if maybe I can control it a little bit. So I have pydanny number 2, and then so here, yeah, I don't know if this is possible. I think, yeah, I don't see how this is possible. So I think I'm gonna have to delete this for now. So I'm guessing that for the time being, because there isn't, like, I can't go find TweetDeck in Zapier. Let me just check. So Twitter, and I don't want to sign up for any social media networking tools if I can afford it. Yeah, it definitely looks like it. Okay, so finite singular. So Luz Fabio, that's Luz FCB, said to use Python wall to handle warning messages. Yeah, I think what I'm gonna have to do is figure out, like, maybe there is a third-party tool to use it. If anyone knows, if you're watching this, if you know of a app in Zapier that can handle this. Actually, let's see if I look up Twitter, maybe there is a let's see if I look up Twitter, maybe it'll give me competitors or similar related things, not competitors. So alternatives, here we go. Facebook, WordPress, LinkedIn, Buffer. So Buffer, I guess, would allow me to manage it. I don't like these kinds of tools. They tend to be really expensive. And so 14-day free trial, what's their pricing? So it's $15 a month. I think for now, I'm just going to manually post it. And sometimes that is what you have to do with no code. Sometimes there isn't a solution. As if we see if we can add any more Facebook things. So messengers, custom audiences, conversions, groups, and I don't have any permission in the groups. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Jay Frozen. I appreciate it. I wasn't sure if if people found the no code cast like this useful. So, and you use 25 bits. I need to I'm so bad with my Twitch. I need to find out what that means. Like, so you cheered, you gave me a cheer, and there's yeah, one of these days I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna sit down and I'm gonna learn all the ins and outs of this. So okay, so I think what I'm doing is I want to post to my timeline. Oh, so I can post a new video. I don't want to post a video. I want to post a regular thing because I want people to go to my YouTube channel, and then I'm gonna use my Facebook, and then so this is going to my personal Facebook account, and then here once again I can put in a message, something like I I worked for 4 hours on work for four more hours on 2 scoops of Django. The book is now at 477 pages with a new chapter and appendix. Whenever I write appendix, I think that maybe should I do it? I think this is best. I'm worried that if I do the link, it won't display as nicely. We'll find out. If it doesn't look good, then we'll just okay, and I'm gonna skip the test because I know that this is gonna work. All right. Oh, I get a penny for each bit used in my channel. Well, double thank you, Jay Frozen. That's awesome. I really, really appreciate that. Awesome. Yeah, so Jay Frozen, he's a coder too, and he subscribed. Thank you. I'm gonna click the thank you button, so I'm giving you a formal thanks. Just to let you know, Skyforest, who might still be in the channel, is really pushing me to get the emoji in place. So what's gonna happen is that, maybe later today or whenever, we will be adding the emoji, so that way you get better emoji in this channel if you subscribe. So OSP Felisa, you're new too. That's awesome. If you can just press the heart button, you don't have to subscribe. So if you subscribe, you're paying money. But if you click the heart button, then that increases my followers. It's not obvious, right? But it is what it is. So part of the reason why this is really useful is that I have discovered that, or we have discovered that when I stream or post videos to YouTube, the sales in our e-commerce store go up. And why that's important is, if we can increase our sales enough, then that means we don't have to do consulting or working for other people. We can just, write books. Oh, you did? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Felisa7, for following. But we can work on books. We can work on open source, which helps people without us. And I can tell you, GitHub sponsors and all those things, that's great. It's not working for us. But doing streaming and then seeing sales increase. In fact, I should see if we are. I have to move this over here because we can't show our storefront online because on our dashboard we get people's addresses and contact information. So I'm seeing now, I'm just checking that since I streamed, have sales gone up? And a little bit, yeah. But this is a no code cast, so maybe that's why, or maybe that this isn't a scheduled event. I don't know. The point is that the trend has been that we've seen sales go up, and we would much rather, like I said, much rather be doing open source and writing books and working on things like Write or Not, where we're streaming the entire process, than building stuff for other people where they don't want to be part of a stream at all. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, so the Zap is on. Actually, is there any other social media? Oh, let's do Reddit. Can I do Reddit? No, I can't do Reddit. There's an app for that called Postpone that an old coworker created that I might do that on. I'm trying to think. Can I do Instagram? Look at that. I can do Instagram. I can do Instagram for business. I wonder what's involved there. Okay, so I can publish a photo. That's not really what I think I have for this. Although maybe I do, because we have the thumbnail, right? So let's sign into Instagram for business. Okay, so see how, okay, that's my personal, but I'm pretty sure that that then connects to my business. Oh, that I need to fix that email because we changed our names this year. So using, this is it, because we have a Roy Greenfeld Inc. And then I think, where is, I know that we have a thumbnail, so I'm wondering why it's not letting me grab the thumbnail. Let's go all the way back up here. Choose app and event. Customize video. Find data. See, there's a thumbnail, right? So I should be able to add the thumbnail to Instagram. I'm going to check our options. We are just not seeing that many options that it's accepting. So it must, formats are, these are the formats. So why is it not showing me all of the fields? What am I, maybe if I, can I move this around? No, I can't move this, but the data should be, so here we're going to find data and customize video. See, here is, so we have, so what I can do is I can do, maybe I can do this. Okay, so that's it. And I know that that's not the ideal size for it, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. Okay. Our very, working on our very own Daniel Feldroy worked, recorded working on, recorded 4 hours of working on 2 scoops of Django. So as mentioned, you know, we do have to do some manual work to for each time we post, we're going to be having manual captions just so that way it doesn't feel so copy pasted or using a social media service. Our very own Daniel Fell record 4 hours of working on 2 scoops of Django. He added, the book is now at 477 pages, is now 477 pages long, and includes a new appendix and chapter. And then we're going to do at, I'm not sure what my Instagram name is. I don't typically use Instagram. Let's see. Here's my wife, and I think I changed mine to Daniel Feldroy too. Yep, I did. So I can just do, if I go back to Zapier, I can do at, and we're going to do loss. I think that's good. We don't need location. This is good enough. Okay, so I think we're going to skip the test and just try it live. Okay, is there any other social media that I am forgetting? Okay, so Myspace. Yeah, let's check Myspace. I know they rebooted it, and I knew someone in Los Angeles who thought it was going to be like the next big thing, and I was like, nah, its time is gone. Reddit, there's no way I can automate it easily in Zapier unless I use a Buffer, which is a social media management app, which I don't want to use. So I think this is good for now. The Reddit I'm going to manually post. And Reddit I might hold off on because Reddit is very trolly. So I'm always really cautious about that. Okay, so here it is, Codecast number 7. It's Codecast just doing quick scan. Another 4 hours concentrated work on 2 scoops. We brought it up to 477 pages, reviewed and added on. Let's write this out: internationalization and localization. Okay, so some of the things that we discussed are one of them, which is me doing a video of improving your chance on landing a software programming job. Okay, so I think, oh, look at this. This is not really good. I need to have a proper link. Okay, so see that how it truncated because I copy pasted. And I think that's good. I don't want to have a huge amount of information. Okay, so now here we go. I'm going to save it as is. I like the thumbnail. My face is above. See right here how the time is there. In different views of this, like on mobile, this count gets really big. So that's why you see my head up there. I've got high contrast explanation of what the video is about. I think we're good. I'm going to go. Time to promote. Once I promote this, I'm also going to go into several Facebook groups, and I think I'll leave it at those Facebook groups and not do it with Reddit. I think for Reddit, I'm more interested in posting my short form tutorials. Just again, so many trolls on Reddit. It's unfortunate. Okay, so we're public. We have the tags that I want, and it is in the playlist. So let's do it. Okay. Now, if I go to Twitter and I look, it probably it's going to take Zapier a few minutes to actually load it. So that's the one thing that I learned is that wait, hold on. I need to look at this task log really quick. I'll look into this later. Okay, because it's saying there's an issue. Sorry, just checking real quick. All right, I'm gonna look into that later. But the one thing I want to do, because we're in the golden hour so I've read that the first hour when you load a video on YouTube is when it goes public is a golden hour. This is when people first notice. So if all of you who are listening to this stream could go onto it and onto his video and start watching it as well as me, and then also like it, that would like really, really make my day, because this is like the time to do it is right now. It'll help promotion, it'll help our sales, and then I get to work on books and open source more, and I'll stream all of that. Okay, so I'm gonna let's see how my cut worked. Okay, so as I mentioned before, this is 2 scoops of Django. I'm gonna mute this, and I'm just gonna let this run. If I start lagging and stuff like that, I'm letting it run more than a few seconds, just so that way I don't. So YouTube looks for when people just visit a video for a few seconds. They want to see people really, oh, I need to post a link. Thank you for reminding me. Okay. All right, everyone. Boom. There we go. That is the link. And I'm going to go to Facebook. All right. And we should see if it, I probably hasn't gone out here yet. Nope, not yet, but that's fine. Instead, I'm going to go to the group set. So Django developers, various Django groups. Okay. And then here we go. Okay, Codecast number 7. Oh, it does not look good. I recorded another 4 hours of working on 2 scoops of Django. It's now 477 pages long with a new chapter and appendix. And again, I'll probably copy paste this just. Okay, boom. Okay. And then posting it here. And also here in Django developers. Boom. And then, wow, no one's posting in this one. Well, that's fine. If I all right. Okay, and now I'm gonna go to various groups that I belong to on LinkedIn. I think that's good right there. I just want these 2 groups. So, and I'm one of the moderators here, just making sure that people post a lot of spam in LinkedIn groups. Okay, there we go. Gonna realize I posted that wrong. Okay. Okay, we're not gonna. I don't think people really care about hashtags on LinkedIn. Maybe they do, and I'm being stupid not following it. And then this one, there's like so much just random stuff tossed in there. No one edits it, but it has 40,000 people, so it's important that we stay in touch with people, right? Okay, let's see how we're doing on our Codecast. Let's go and check. So we've had 10 views. Oh, and I have a comment. Let's read the comments. Priceless Reese. Oh, look at that. Whoever, Joe Hadid, are you in here in Twitch? Thank you so much for the compliment. You just made my day. And let me see if I can like grab a nice we'll go with that, and I'll paste that in. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, the other interesting thing. Oh, Jay. So, Joe, that's you. Awesome. So you got to me from one of the groups on Facebook. So it is paying off. Yeah. So one of the things is in the software community, there is this onus against promoting yourself, and it has hurt us. on the one hand, you can advertise a software as a service thing, but God forbid you promote books that you've written, or you until not too long ago that you asked for payment for work done on open source projects. And this has really hurt us. It is why we stopped doing open source. We just couldn't afford it. And I'm really happy that the world has changed enough that people understand that if you have people working on open source, unless they're super duper lucky and work for a corporation that will pay them in perpetuity for work on open source, open source is kind of a loser's game. I mean, that's maybe not the right term, but if through YouTube and selling our books and doing these streams, I'd love to have streams about constantly about me working on open source. Yeah. So I know I keep saying this, but I find it really exciting. Oh, look at that. I have to do another one. Welcome. Let me know what you think. So yeah, now we are in the golden hour where what that means is now is when the people are actually where people pick up where YouTube, based off of how much this is being watched, they'll promote it more. And yeah, it can go viral after the fact. I don't want to say that, oh, if it doesn't go viral now, it's not going to go viral later. That's not true, but the odds are better if I do it now. All right, so I'm going to go to TweetDeck. Oh, I have it open right there, and I am just going to post this again and again. Okay. And okay, so I'm in TweetDeck, and I'm gonna choose Two Scoops Academy. No, we're not doing Two Scoops Academy, but the Twitter account is there, so I'm just gonna post to it. And Feldroy team. Oh, hold on. pydanny. That's what it should be. So I'm gonna have to go and our very own. Okay. So now I have to open up a column for this. So we have the user is let's see, we have, there we go. So to see how it's saying I, and okay, perfect. So now let's close some of this. Okay, so I'm gonna delete it for Two Scoops Academy and Cartwheel Web. Okay, so now for here, our very own pydanny, paste that in and paste that in. Okay, and PyBeach LA is not our account. That we just have permission to post to it. Probably be obnoxious if I post it under the account, right? So I'm gonna. PyBeach is a Los Angeles-based conference series, and it'd be really rude. It'd be funny though. I wish I didn't. Sometimes I wish I had the gumption to do that. So okay. So how are we doing on the video? So we have 15 views in 11 minutes, not bad. And we are we have 2 comments. I guess that's from people in this channel. Yeah. Thank you for understanding, Joe. Having Yeah, I would love to be like Evan Yu or that guy who got on the top of Reddit for making $100,000 a year, and that isn't me though. Like, uh, this is like it's kind of funny to look at it, but this is what I make for sponsorship. I have uh, I make uh what is it? Where's it gonna show? Oh, I think so. I have 3 sponsors. I'm not like Evan Yu. I think if we go to GitHub sponsors Evan Yu, I guess no, that's him, but he is. Oh no, that can't be him at all. Evan Yu, for reference, is a guy behind is the leader of the Vue.js project. So Evan, I think Evan is creating Vue.js, and so he's making $15,000 a month leading the Vue.js project. Now Evan is amazing, like super deep knowledge, great sense of design, and by design, that's both the API design as well as visual design. So amazing guy. He absolutely deserves it. Okay, so let's check and make sure that our things have updated. There we go. So you can see that now the question is these are things that I posted, but where is what Zapier posted? Here we go. So it did post. And that is exactly what I want. And if I go to Facebook and if I look at Feldroy, it should be in there now. And it is. So there's Codecast number 7. Excellent. Okay, and we weren't doing Reddit. Not this time. I'll do that on the short form tutorial. And it's kind of funny seeing me working on this yesterday. I think that's it for no Codecast. Yeah, you can see this blast across accounts. And that is basically how you use a tool like Zapier to handle your social media account. Can you use tools like Buffer? You can. My experience of them has been not the best. Other people I'm sure do really well with it, but for me, as you can see, if we look at my Zaps, this one right here, each one of them I'm going into and I'm customizing the message, and then having it all here on this simple screen I find is better than the API used for tools like in Buffer. Oh, this had an issue. So we will have to figure out what's going on there. So this is for, let's see if we can update this or figure out what's going on. Okay, so our YouTube account, now that we have another, so we're going to find the data that we want to present and load more. And this way we can test and see what happened. Okay, so we're going to look here, and this was supposed to go to the Feldroy page, but it did work, so I don't see what the problem is. I think this is just Zapier having there wasn't an issue. Let's see how it looks on Instagram. I don't want to look at that. It's okay. I should have used a larger scale thumbnail. What I should do is I would update it. Oh, look at that. There's follow some of these people. This is a guy I went to middle school and high school with. This is run by a cousin. He's kind of kooky and fun. Okay, so the lesson learned here, I'm not going to delete this, is going forward. So notice how there's no link to the video. I'm going to add that real quick. Video is here. See what? Yeah, so the lesson learned is to, I can't just do a thumbnail. I also have to have a comment or some mention that this is where the video is. So that was a mistake on my part. But all of this is absolutely a learning process. Okay, then. I think I am done for now. I would like to, let's just make sure, see if there's any other comments. This is still going, so we're going to see if there's any more comments. Not yet. And we're at 15 views. We'll see how it goes. These things, this isn't a short form tutorial. It's 4 hours, and sometimes it does really well, sometimes it doesn't. But if anyone has any questions, I am open to answering them now. Otherwise, I'm going to log off and get me some lunch because it's a little bit late for me. I should have eaten already. Oh, go ahead. What's the suggestion? I think my voice is loud. Decrease the volume a little bit. Okay. So you mean for YouTube is break them up into portions? That is an awesome idea. Oh my goodness. I think so that way I could do like Codecast part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4 or something like that. Are there examples of people who do this? I mean, it's not that much work for me. I mean, it's just it is just, wow, I didn't think about that. I just need to find like a stopping point for each one, and or maybe set a timer where after an hour a timer goes off, and then I'm gonna look at what he's sending me. And this is with Corey Schaefer. He is a famous tutorial creator for various things. And here's another ad. And I guess he's talking about, okay. And this is 15 minutes. And what I want to do is hear how he breaks it. Hold on, let's.
Be sure to subscribe for future videos, and thank you. If you have the means, you can contribute to Patreon, and there's a link to that page in the description section below. Be sure to subscribe for future videos, and thank you all for watching.
And then, so
hey there, how's it going, everybody? This structure that we just
so he's basically creating these as different videos. So these are tutorial videos that, in his case, he is doing each video, and then he is editing it and uploading it, and that's a lot of work, and that's what I plan to do with my short form tutorials. Like, if you go to the Codecast though are me just sitting there and focusing on getting things done. What might work is, I think, possibly breaking it up into as finite singularity is breaking it up into smaller chunks and then producing a whole bunch of them. Maybe that's a better way of doing it. Let me and then what I can do is set a timer. Like I said, set a timer. I guess I was thinking an hour, but 30 minutes, and that way Actually, then I've got noise going in the background. I think actually what I do, I guess, hold on, let me think this through. So what I do is every 30 minutes or so when the timer would go off, then I would do okay, hey, it's time for me. That is when I know to write, basically say something like, this is part 1, part 2 is coming up. So that way you on stream would be getting the live studio audience feel, but the users would be getting, this is really confusing watching myself talk. The the users would be getting a different experience. That, I mean, the people on YouTube, they would see 30 minutes, and then I'd say, okay, hey, it's time to end this segment. Stay tuned. Coming right up is this, and then the next video comes, and then what I can do is I can have in the end card, it links to the next video in the sequence. That is absolutely possible. It's going to take a little bit of organization. I don't want to break things up into 10 minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. I'd rather do 30-minute segments with Codecast. The reason being is Codecast is me trying to get things done. And although I don't know, maybe the answer is not to have me edit it, because we have other people at Feldroy, but then they're forced to watch me like talk for hours. I don't know. Let me think about it some. So, we put, yeah, Codecasts are very freestyle. That's the concern. But I think what Finite Singularity is saying is putting timestamps in the description, and then we can actually link to those. That sounds awesome. And that way, that would be great, because there are some of my Codecasts, I could keep them all that length, that 4 hours, which makes it easy on me, because if I'm spending all of my time editing, I'm not spending any time coding. So that's also the trade-off, that I only have so much time to code, and I'm my own editor. So, but having a timetable of, this is where the intro, this is that might help, and that's like kind of a nice intermediary. Excellent. Well, this was definitely productive. Any other questions or suggestions? I'm open. Yes, go ahead. Finite Singularity. Yeah, we are not fans of signals. Signals have their place. Signals have their place in Django projects. They are your option of last resort. The problem that we have with signals is, one, we're not fans of action at a distance, where something happens here and then magically over here something happens. It is sort of the same thing that people get working with microservices, that it can be hard to track things. The other problem is there's lots of signal abuse. If you've ever stepped into a project where people didn't understand really what signals were for, it's insane. Yeah, so Finite Singularity says, how about an API where things like trigger WebSockets update needs to happen? Yes, that is one use case. There are viable use cases for it. The issue, though, is that if it is always your first go-to, then you're doing it wrong. If you can do something in a save function, then that is a better place than handling it in a post-save function. So it really depends on your project and what your use case is. And again, there are times when putting things in a save function or in the save method don't work, or in a create method don't work. It'll blow stuff up. that's another problem that Fabio brought up, is you can't control signals because it is actions at distance. They kind of fire when they fire, and you can't. There are edge cases where weird things happen, and debugging those things is really hard. Another problem is people will often think that, because they will often equate actions at a distance with asynchronous behavior. And signals, there's nothing about signals that is asynchronous. Just because you can't control when the signal is executed doesn't mean that it's asynchronous. It just means that you don't know when the stack is deciding to fire off things that trigger a signal. But if you attempt to use signals to handle things like accessing a third-party API and trying to avoid a tar pit and something that should go into a celery task or serverless function or an async Django view, if you put that in a signal, you're going to run into issue. You get absolutely no benefit from converting everything possible to be async by putting it into signals. Another issue is that I have had developers tell me that, if you don't like to use signals, that means you're a junior developer. It's like, no, that just means that if you think that signals is a mark of being an advanced developer, it means you're a junior with delusions of grandeur. A senior developer or a good intermediate developer, they understand that you want to simplify and pare down complexity as much as possible, because where you're really going to get killed on is in your business logic, what you're trying to execute on. So Finite Singular says, I have a situation where a particular model instance create. I need to see if there are optional submodels that already exist, and if they do, alter them to point back to the new parent. Not sure how to handle that without signals. Hey, if signal is your way to deal with this, because I can kind of see where you're going with a signal, then use a signal. This is the perfect use case for a signal, because he needs to make sure that it's absolutely created. And trust me, if you try to do this in a create function in Django, you're going to have pain. So this, I tell you, finite singularity is fine for using signals. We're not against signals. We just use them responsibly and use them as make them the option of last resort, and your code will just be easier to maintain. And that way, when you do use them, it'll be like, oh, here is a signal. This project, which has 40,000 lines of code, has 5 signals. That's what you're aiming for. You don't want to see signals everywhere. I do know people who build third-party packages and they live off of signals, and I kind of understand where some of them are going, but I also know that maintaining that can be, or working with those APIs can be frustrating and hard, because then their API, and we don't see this as much as we used to in the third-party Django ecosystem, but it used to be kind of prevalent with like a certain group of people, and I think those they've gone off to work in Kubernetes and Golang, and more power to them. I mean, they're doing they're doing awesome stuff, but that was always hard working with their packages. You're not abusing them. You're not trying to use them for asynchronous behavior. You're not trying to. I've seen people say, oh, it is the best way to reduce complexity to put stuff into your signals, and it's like, no, don't do it. Don't. Your future self will hate you if you're the only coder on this project, and especially when you come back after seeing how people do it in a different way, you'll be like, how do I figure out where things go, because you have actions here and here, and anyone else coming on board will also, it'll overwhelm them. There's a corollary to this. I have seen this was about 16 years ago, about 15 and a half years ago. My first year at NASA, there was this project that ran super fast and no one could work on it. And that's because it had a web front end, which is powered with Cold Fusion. And I shouldn't make that face, but it's Cold Fusion. And the back end was running on Oracle, and every bit of business logic was driven by triggers. The whole thing was trigger based, and then Cold Fusion was basically the front end view layer. And there's some stored procedures. So there's some stored procedures, and a lot of triggers. And so to make anything happen, you'd add a record to this table, and then that would fire off triggers across the application. It was impossible to read. It was so scary trying to update that. I remember them asking me to work on it, and I had heard rumors about this application. Now, don't get me wrong, triggers have their place. Triggers and databases can be really useful and powerful. Since I've started up doing Django, I've written maybe 1 or 2 triggers in 11, 12 years. And in any case, I understand there are people who are database experts who know how to handle using triggers, and that is because they have carefully designed databases. That's not what this was. This was an application where all of the business logic was driven by triggers and event tables describing events. It is, so this is the corollary that basically was actions at a distance. It's the same thing with signals. Signals are great if you understand how to use them and you try not to use them. And that way when you use them, they're like a superpower. And we didn't call it a superpower in our book because we didn't want people to think, oh, I need to master signals now. The same thing goes for database triggers. Don't do this. Don't use database triggers to build an entire application. Use it in those critical places where it's awesome. Where, one of the things in Django, if you're creating a history table, we have this thing where it's like, okay, we submit a record and then we fire off an asynchronous task to handle the adding a record to a history table. I've done this. Really, what we should be doing is we have a history table and then a trigger fills that. Perfect use case for triggers. So it's kind of, in Django we kind of are using the wrong thing, and it's fine. It's not, no one's gonna die because we're not using a trigger in this capacity. But I'm just saying that the way we do things typically in Django with things like history tables might be better served with the trigger. There's just not, unless something changed in modern Django. Did it? Django triggers. I don't think so. So there's Django triggers. So look, this is a framework. Yeah, so here, if you search on triggers, you come up with signals. No, I'm not seeing it. So the problem with this codecast, I realize, is that we've gone kind of into a deep technical discussion. So I'll probably, when this gets up to YouTube, I'll probably end it early and not get into this technical discussion. That's okay. That's part of the fun of this. Is there anyone have anything else they want to raise before I log off? Like ask a question, make a suggestion. Oh, I should check, because this is the golden hour. I do need to, so we're at 38 views, 4 likes. Let's check Twitter. People are still responding to my thing from yesterday. Let's check Facebook. Okay, so Joe, thank you for liking my links in these other places. You're so awesome. Wow. Just seeing if I like to like my own stuff. People are like, why are you liking your own stuff? It's like cause shouldn't I do that? Django developers. So where are you based out of, Joe? So if I don't like it, what is I don't like what in particular? If I don't like signals, or I don't know. I think I'm kind of confused. Okay, and let's see what this private message is. Oh, this is he's asking about buying someone's asking in Nigeria is asking about buying 2 scoops of Django there because like in a lot of countries in South America, Asia, and Africa, it's harder for them to buy stuff on our store. Just it takes a lot of time and money to get a credit card that'll work outside their country. So we are setting up storefronts um, in Africa, Latin America, and Asia, and we're starting off with, oh, if a person doesn't like what they're posting, why should they post it? Oh, I don't know. I've had people say, why are you liking your own stuff? And I have the option, so I might as well, right? I mean, it increases my like count. That's my thought, and I didn't think about it until someone like dinged me, and I'm like, why are you being so weird? So, yeah, kind of funny. So yeah, so this is Corey Schaefer. He does video tutorials, which isn't my thing, uh, but more power to people like that. He teaches function-based views. Oops. No, go away, volume. I'm just seeing. So yeah, that's something that I probably won't be doing is doing basic level tutorials on Django or Python. Maybe I'll do one on Python. That might be kind of fun, because that way I don't have to write it. Part of the reason why I don't want to do a basic level tutorial on Django, one, we're selling one, but the other reason why is that when one, a lot of people have done it, and there's some people have done it really well. Two is we already get a lot of support requests for the projects that we are doing, and so we're trying to, and especially with installation for beginners is a huge deal that we are constantly dealing with. So if I did a free tutorial, we're going to get installation questions, and that's something that we're trying to avoid. We actually thought about releasing the setup chapter in Django Crash Course, but we decided against it just because we don't have bandwidth to provide support to everyone in the world, and it kind of sucks. But at the end of the day, that's what we decided to do. Okay, so I think one thing I want to check is at the end, do the cards come up? Okay, we're going to close that because that went pretty well. So yeah, I think, yeah, the thing, Joe, I think you get it. That's the other thing is that, wow, you really can't see that text. I need to be much more careful about where I put my white backgrounds with these letters because that's hard to read. But Joe, I agree with you. I think there's so many, here's how you do the absolute fundamentals of Django. There's a good amount of that. Corey Schaefer, Dennis Ivey, Traversely Media, and then there's all these people who are copying each other on this information, and that's great that they are doing that. Actually, I have mixed feelings about it because with that kind of amount of that volume of code copying, I'm seeing certain anti-patterns have emerged out of that. For example, not following PEP8, which hurts people for getting jobs. So one of the things that I want to do is hopefully address that in the days to come. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just checking the video to make sure that the closing card comes up. No, I don't want to look at this stuff. I want. Okay. So this is the very end. I'm just making sure that the closing cards provide the options that I want it to do. Okay, we are at. So we're at 420. So it should be coming up any second now. I should extend the period of the cards. Okay, perfect. So not really, because see how where they show up? So I should maybe move these on top. I'm going to center these. Excellent. And so if you click here, you go to all the code casts. All right, so let's straighten that out real quick. Well, for those of you who are on YouTube and are watching this and are going, "Oh my goodness, he's talked about some advanced topics." You know, the point is that as a senior engineer, even me who knows these things will use no code techniques to do things that I know, because it saves me time, because resolving the problems that I discussed is, you know, it takes up a lot of time, and a better solution to spending all that time is to use no code for it. Okay, so, and then this starts at 4:23. We'll start it at, give it a bunch more time, and we'll do it for both. So this, okay, so now the exit playlist, oh, I think I can control it there. Perfect. So now when people are finishing up watching the video, it will give the subscribe button and then the link to the other thing before it rolls over to whatever else is on their playlist. So that way they stay under my control. But okay, so this was basically my quick tour of how I post currently as of July 9th. And I have got other things to do, so that involve work that I can't stream. Thank you so much for being here. Take care, Joe, Finite Singularity, everyone who gave me suggestions and followed. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Please tell me what you did like, what you didn't like in the comments. Much appreciated. And finally, I'm just going to close this off with a mention that if you like what you saw, everything that we have for sale is for sale at feldroy.com. This is my merch blast, or not really merchandise. These are where we sell our books, 2 Scoops of Django and Django Crash Course. So hope you come there. Again, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Take care. Bye.